Hello and welcome to the video on adjectives. Adjectives, we're discussing parts of speech and the upper class word category, the third one, adjectives. This video will be talking about adjectives, the major features of adjectives and the functions they hold in a sentence, as well as the different categorizations. Right. So we shall go to the topic straight. Yes. Adjectives. First, as usual, about the function or the major definition for adjective in general. What is an adjective or what are adjectives? Adjectives are words that modify, qualify, or describe a noun. So noun we have already come across. What is a noun? It's a naming word. To talk at a very basic level, it's a naming word. It can be the name for a person, place, things, objects, ideas, feelings, and many other categories. They are very deeper level analysis, deeper level understanding we have already come across. And in that case, we come across another category of or another type of under the parts of speech, under the category, it's an open class category. Here we have adjectives, which have the function to modify, qualify, or describe a noun. Here also, it's very good that we go to the example and then understanding the real way of its functioning in a sentence. Words such as good, bad, excellent, ordinary, beautiful, ugly, etc. give us information about the qualities of a noun or pronoun. This is very important. See which are the kinds of words. Certain examples are given here. Words such as good, bad, excellent, ordinary, beautiful, ugly. So good, bad. And here it talks about modify or qualify. From here we have to understand. You're talking about a noun. You are giving more idea about the noun that you are referring to. That may be something positive or negative, but in both cases, the functioning of that word is that of an adjective, or the word is functioning as an adjective there. Whether you are talking in a positive sense or if you are qualifying the noun positively, you're modifying the noun, you're giving additional information about a noun positively or negatively. In any case, that is functioning, the word is functioning as an adjective in that case. We should not be confused when you see it's modifying, qualifying. Only positive qualification can be there in the case of or as the function of adjective. Let us see that here. The first basic example you take here, a good boy. Boy is a noun. We know it's a common noun. Any boy, it can be any boy. But here, a good boy, in that case, just see boy as a noun is qualified or modified. What kind of a boy he is? He's a good boy. And just see if you substitute this term with a bad boy, then also that bad as a term is an adjective. Here definitely we know boy, you get an additional information about the boy. It's a good boy. He's a good boy. The same place you can substitute it with the bad. Even in that case, it's an adjective. So that is the basic idea we have to get. It's additionally you get an information. You get some information about the noun that is attached with, and that's how only in that case a word can function as an adjective. It has to qualify, it has to tell something about the noun which it is attached with. And next one you can see here, tea. We know it's a noun, it's a name of something. So tea, and what kind of tea? It's hot tea. Then cold tea, we can talk in that way. Strong tea. So all these terms can function as the adjective because these are immediately attached with this noun, and it gives, or these give, some basic information or additional information. It's qualifying, it's modifying the noun which we are talking about. Okay, and now we have to go into the different categorization, different types of adjectives are of different kinds. Actually, adjectives are of different types. First one. See, let us see. Just let us have an idea. See, different texts get us different picture, different types of different types of categorization. Still, at a basic level, we can take. We can refer one text and just go for the discussion. First one, descriptive adjective. Second one, adjectives of quantity. Third one, numeral adjectives. Fourth one, demonstrative adjectives. Fifth one, distributive. Sixth one, interrogative. Seventh one, possessive. So seven major divisions we see here. We will come across the description there. Yeah, first one, descriptive adjective. That is the title. That's a name of that first type. It's descriptive, or in another name it is given here, adjectives of quality. Quality, descriptive. Description as a term we know. We describe something. When you describe something, you give, obviously you give some additional information. So these adjectives give us information about the qualities, obviously the qualities. So we may be confused, why then other, what do other adjectives do then? Obviously the basic definition goes like this: you're qualifying, modifying, but we will come across the differences between different types of adjectives once we discuss the other ones. But here just think about the quality, more information about the quality given by an adjective. So these are adjectives that give us information about the qualities possessed by the noun or pronoun they relate to. So the pronoun we haven't discussed yet still. We know pronouns can function as the substitute for a noun. In that case, sometimes pronouns also you can modify using different adjectives. But here we can go for a very simple, we can go for simple examples. Here you see, my uncle lives in an old house. This is first task is about identifying the nouns given in the sentence. Definitely, we can identify more than one noun in this sentence. My uncle lives in an old house. Uncle is a noun. House is a noun. But here we are trying to get the example for a quality, the kind of noun, the kind of adjective that talks about the quality of a noun. In that case, definitely we can concentrate on this noun, that is house, and what kind of a house it is. It's an old house. So here old becomes the old, as the word old functions as the adjective of quality, describing the kind of house. What kind of a house it is? It's an old house. It's not a new house. So you get a picture of that. You get a description on that. And my uncle. So of course, my is a term. My is a term here functioning as an adjective. But that is a different kind of adjective that we will come across later once we see the other types. Next, another example also you can take here for the same kind, descriptive adjective. One is, you see here, we had a pleasant evening. So definitely we have to, at this stage, we should be able to identify the nouns in the sentence. If you have to do something with an adjective, if you have the task of identifying the adjective in a sentence, the first task is about finding out the noun. Only then you can identify. the noun, and then you can understand, you can identify the adjective and its kind of functioning. So here obviously under descriptive adjective, as we are talking we are trying to find out, so definitely it gives the description of that evening is the noun here, and evening, how it is described here, that kind of quality of that evening. What kind of an evening? It was a pleasant evening. So we had a pleasant evening. In that sentence, evening is the noun. Definitely we know it's not a concrete noun but an abstract. We cannot touch evening, so it's a noun. But even then it's a noun. That is the way. It is a surface level basic understanding, like a person, subject, place, and we forget about this. If you forget about all the other possibilities, it's very difficult for us to identify the nouns. Should be very careful about that. Evening, when we see evening as a term, you should be able to identify it as a noun. Only in that case, this process of identifying the descriptive adjective that goes with it, or at least that comes in this sentence, it becomes very smooth if you can identify this evening as a noun there. Okay, so that sentence is that example, that is, I hope it is clear. Now, adjectives. Now, certain other possibilities where different descriptive adjectives can function, or descriptive adjectives functioning in different sentences. We can see adjectives related to nationality or religion. Indian woman, English man. So certain, and again another religious terms like Muslim, Hindu, Christian. Then you can describe certain persons, certain uh, languages, all these, and so that obviously these words can function as descriptive adjective in those cases. Indian woman, woman is a noun, so Indian becomes the term, as a term in that particular combination functions as an adjective. English book. Book is a noun. So English, definitely something related to, okay, nationality or geographical spaces. And religion, obviously we can see the example like Muslim woman, Muslim girl, Hindu woman, Hindu man. So these terms, national, sometimes related to nationality, religion, all these can function as the adjectives of quality or descriptive adjective, definitely. And now, nouns used as adjectives. Sometimes certain nouns used as adjectives functioning as nouns used as adjective. How it can be, how certain nouns can function as adjectives. Let us see. In certain combinations, it becomes possible. Okay. So see here, goods train. How many goods? Of course, we know goods stands for certain things. Goods, we know. But here in the combination, train is already a noun. And what kind of a train it is? It's a goods train. It's not a passenger train. So goods, of course, already in its own uh, standing, goods is obviously a noun, but here in the combination already there is a noun, and this other, when it comes before that or when it is attached with the other noun, it functions as an adjective. So we have already, I have already talked about this idea or this notion that is already only in certain contexts you can identify certain words and the functioning, whether it's a verb or adjective, noun, pronouns. See, this is only we can identify, most of the words we can identify only in connection with the sentence or only in the context of a sentence. Okay. Yes, next one, it is about sugar mill. Mill, we know. Mill is a place where you have all these grains and all the function, or see, grinding, everything happening. So mill is obviously a noun. But sugar also is a noun. Sugar stands for, we know, material, sugar. But in this combination, mill, what kind of a mill it is? It's a sugar mill. So sugar as a noun, even though it is a noun in isolation, here in the combination it functions as an adjective by qualifying the other noun called mill. Okay, yes. And another kind of another possibility to find out certain adjectives of quality or description, how certain other examples or combination certain other possibilities we come across here with the present and past participle as adjectives. See, in verbs, we know V1, V2, V3 forms. Here, a burning tree. Just see the example. Tree is a noun. Tree is the noun in this sentence. What is happening to the tree? How it is described? It's a burning tree. It's burning. So burning is obviously a verb form, and the in the ing form. So here present for another past participle as an example, broken heart. We know heart is the name of an organ, so that is obviously a noun. What kind of heart it is? The description you get here with the broken. Normally broken is a verb form, past participle form. One more an additional example again with the another past participle form, unexpected, a verb form, V3 form, but result is the noun there. And what kind of a result? The description you get here, unexpected result. That's all with the descriptive adjectives. Hope it is clear. Okay. Then the second type, adjectives of quantity. Quality after you talk about, we come across quantity. Let us see what it is. These adjectives refer to measurement or quantity of the noun they modify. Definitely you get the idea about the quantity, the measurement. Okay, just see the example. With a very simple example, we can remember these types of adjectives. You can rent the entire house. Please try to identify the noun in the sentence. House is the noun, name of something. So you can rent the entire house. In that case, just think about a person renting, giving the house for rent. Okay, take it. Some person's taking the house for rent. In that case, sometimes we know only upstairs is given. But here you talk about the entire house as available for rent. So here in this case, you have the idea about the quantity, how the kind of renting that is happening with this house. It's entire, the whole, the measurement, the quantity, the possibility of you to the accessibility of the house. You get a kind of measurement. Basically, it's about the measurement, quantity, the whole entire house you can rent. So we just think about that example, and that will be enough there. Third type, it is numeral adjectives. Numeral is definitely connected with the number. So they inform about the number or order of the nouns they refer to. Noun, number or order. Yeah, numeral. Now, numbers you can refer in two ways. Here with example, it's better for us to talk on the basis of these examples. There are 9 chocolates left in the jar. 9. It's obviously cardinal. That refers directly to the number. You see, there are 9 chocolates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 chocolates left in the jar. So then you may be confused. You might be confused like, then what else be? See the second example? You can find the jar in the second shelf. Definitely, it's not the way you refer this number. The number, it's cardinal about the number directly, but here it is about the order, cardinal and ordinal. You can find the jar in the second shelf. You talk about 2 or 3 shelves, and then you give the order. How you can find something in the first shelf, second shelf, third shelf. In the class, if you are taking the example, the student sitting in the first bench, second bench, third bench, so that bench, the order, the position, you can look for a bench using the order. You get an idea about the bench or the shelf. But first, second, third, fourth, it's not one shelf or 2 shelves. No, it's not this. There is a difference. But both refer to a kind of, basically it is about numeral. Basically it is about numbers, number system. So these kinds of adjectives are called numeral adjectives. We are giving information about number or order of the nouns they refer to. Okay, yes. Then the fourth type, it is demonstrative adjectives. Demonstration. They point to the persons or things that they modify. Definitely, a demonstration as a term, wherever it comes as a reference or as a type, it's a category. We know we use the idea of a demonstration, where you point out something, you take an object, or you point out at something and you have a description on that, or you have a you give an idea about this. You talk about these things by pointing out. That is the basic notion of demonstration. And the same thing happens here with the pointing out to persons or things that they modify. Persons, things. Definitely going to nouns. And just see these examples and try to visualize here. These colleges are affiliated. You see a few colleges here, and you point out to them and see these colleges. In this colleges, see colleges stand for the noun. There, that is the noun in the sentence. And you point out at those and say, these colleges. So, these as the word in this sentence functions as the demonstrative adjective. Okay, and another example as these colleges, because colleges, the noun is in its plural form. Just see another hotel. You point out at a hotel and say, this hotel is the largest in the city. So if it is just you're standing just near to the hotel, or you are standing at a distance, in any case you can point out to that. Normally you make this sentence by pointing, demonstrating at that this hotel. Sometimes you might pointing out, and then it becomes the demonstrative adjective. Okay, this hotel is the largest in the city. So this as the term is there. Another example for this demonstration. Yeah. Then fifth one, distributive adjectives. Distributive. Distribution. Take the notion of distribution so that it will be easy for us to. These refer to each one of two or more persons or things taken singly or in separate groups. What is happening there? Let us go to the example, then it becomes more clear. Each student is supposed to write a speech. Please try to identify the nouns in this sentence, not just one noun. Sure. Student is a noun, speech is a noun. But here we are trying to get example for distributive adjective that we are at present we are describing about. We are trying to understand about. So here each student is supposed to write a speech. In that case, distribution, how does distribution happens with this term, each student. Student is the noun and each is the distributive adjective. So definitely this is a work that is distributed for all the students in the class actually. But how it is told, each student, student number 1, student number 2, student number 3, and how many students, the number of students in the class, all of them are getting this assignment to write the speech, but in a distributed manner. Only with this term you can distribute that. Just think about the sentence without this each, without using this each. Even then the sentence is not incomplete. It is still a sentence. Student is supposed to write a speech, but that is only about one student. But if you use each as it's a distributive adjective here, which with that itself you can refer to as many students in the class, and you can distribute the duty without having much confusion. Okay, then see the next example for the same kind of adjective. Every child in the country should be given education. Every child. Child is the noun. Another nouns are the, like country is another noun, education is another noun. But we want to take the example for distributive adjective. So here you see every child in the country should be given education. So as many children are there in a nation, so distribution happens in the mode of, in the case of talking about this right to be given to get education. So every child, child number one, child number two, child from Kerala, children from Kerala, children from Tamil Nadu, children from Kashmir, every child in the country should be given education. So you have a distribution there. Otherwise, it's child in the country. Which child? Some child. No distribution happening there. Okay, so that is clear. Hope it is clear. And another one more example, because it's a kind of confusing, or kind it demands explanation. That's why we have more examples. Like we can borrow, you can borrow either of these two pens. See, just visualize. I'm holding two pens, and say you can borrow either of these two pens. Pen is the noun there. And I say either of these two pens. There is a distribution happening there. Either of this, either this one or that one. And see, one blue pen and one black pen. Either of these. Obviously, a distribution sake, or distribution idea of distribution you get from all these all these terms, and that's how they become the, or they function as the distributive adjectives in the sentence. Okay, yes. Then the sixth category, interrogative adjectives. Interrogation. No need of another further explanation for this. Interrogation definitely stands for question. When words like what, which, and whose are used along with the nouns in interrogative sentences, they are called interrogative adjectives. Sometimes they can function as interrogative adjectives, these terms. That's why it's not constant. Next time we will see interrogative adverbs. So that is only according to the sentence and the functioning mode you can identify, you can see whether it is an adjective or an adverb. Whose, shoes are these? Interrogation sake you are using this. For the sake of asking a question you are using this. Whose shoes are these? But in that case you are referring to shoes. Whose shoes stand as the noun here, and whose as the interrogative adjective in this sentence. Shoes obviously is getting a kind of additional, or kind of extra additionally you are using a word here, but that is obviously used for the purpose of asking question, and that's how that becomes the interrogative adjective. The last type, possessive adjective. Possession technically stands for ownership. Adjectives that show ownership are called possessive adjectives. See, leave your contact number with me. Contact number, or contact as the noun here. Your, whose number you are asking for, or one is asking for, your. So obviously contact number, how it is qualified here with the adjective your. Your here stands for the possessive, stands as the possessive adjective. Another main best example is this itself, I think. My work is not the best. Work is the noun here. And whose work? It's showing ownership. My work. In that regard, my functions as the possessive adjective in this sentence by qualifying the noun work. Okay, so that's all with the different types of adjectives. In general, at a basic level, this is completely about qualifying or describing or modifying a noun. But different types we definitely have to see and understand. Okay, yes. So with the adverb, we have to talk about degrees of comparison as well. Degrees of comparison talks about the way we can use adjectives in different contexts, or in different situations. That is, first it is positive, the three degrees of comparison. Let me get to the names of that. There is positive, comparative, and superlative. Three modes in which we can use an adjective in different sentences. First one, it is about positive degree. Let us take the example itself. This degree is used to describe a noun without comparing it to anything else. That is, adjectives that are used in the base form. Adjectives are used in their base form here to denote the positive degree. Just see the example. Tony is a clever dog. You're talking about a dog. You're giving a so definitely dog is the noun and clever stands as the or functions as the adjective here. The type of adjective or those you don't know how to think at this level. But see here, it's positive degree where you are describing a noun without comparing. You're just talking about Tony. No other dog is mentioned here. So definitely about the quality of dog, the quality of this Tawny, this dog, you are talking. So clever as the term, but it is used in the positive degree because there is no comparison happening as such. Just think about the second type, that is comparative degree. This is used to compare two nouns, definitely two nouns. Usually the suffix er is used with the root base type, base word. That is clever becomes cleverer where you have to refer two dogs here. Just see, think Tommy and Jimmy you are referring. Tommy is cleverer than Jimmy. You talk about one, the first one, and the second. Two nouns are there. Two persons, two nouns. So definitely you are comparing two persons, and then you can, if you want, you can refer it like Tommy is cleverer than Jimmy. So that one is compared to the other, and one the common quality. But here one is far better than the other to show that this comparative degree. Okay. And the last type, it is a superlative. The term itself refers to something superlative, the highest. This degree is used when a comparison is made among more than two nouns. One, two, more than two. So any number, it can be n number. So that is among more than two nouns, and you talk about the maximum possibility, maximum of the quality you are talking. So the suffix est, clever. First one, the basic. Take this example, cleverer. The second type, comparative degree, you use it with the cleverer, er as the suffix, and the third type you use est. You add it. You add the basic form. You add with est. Est you add with the basic term, and it becomes cleverest. And see how it happens. You sometimes talk about the cleverest girl in the city, the cleverest boy in the class. In that case, you're comparing more than two nouns. And you talk about the superlative, the highest possibility. Here, sometimes we refer the highest mountain, the longest river. So all that talks about is you. It's not about always not about the whole or the situation in the whole at the at length about the world in general. No, sometimes it is about the in the city, the longest in the city, the longest in the state, the highest in the country. So obviously you keep a base there and you talk about, but more than two nouns are compared, and certain irregular forms are there. We talked about the regular forms where you can add er for comparative degree, so est for getting the superlative degree. But irregular forms, just see the examples: good, better, best. You can never add er to form the comparative form of better, good, to form the comparative form of superlative form of good. You can never add est. So it is the good, better, best. We often use these, but we are not much aware that you are using it under the category of adjective. That is why we try to make it as a kind of organized way of learning at the stage of learning language. Bad, worse, worst, worse than, the worst, the worst. So in this obviously superlative degree, you can add this article, the. And little, less, least, little, less than, sometimes we use that. So never you can add er or est with the base forms. Good, bad, little are the base forms as you talk about clever here. But certainly these are irregular forms which do not allow you to add such add and form have another form, but you have entirely different words, so that we have to be aware of this. If you have to use it in a proper way, you have to be aware of these irregular forms. So we most often use these and have an idea that is about using these at a positive, comparative, or superlative. These are definitely not the types of adjective, but the way you can use adjectives in different contexts where you do not have a comparison, you have to make comparison, and the number of things which you are comparing, whether two or more than two, you can decide that accordingly. Okay, so that's all with the adjectives as the category, as the type of as one of the parts of speech under the open class or content word category. Okay, thank you so much for listening.